All right, Shalom. First, I accept by saying, I'll praise thee, how about Shema Shem, by Shema Kakadash. And my honors to the elders and the apostles, every will, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is going to be another quick lesson.
In his gravest warning yet about the risk of a nuclear conflict, President Biden saying Russian President Vladimir Putin's threats to use tactical nuclear weapons pose the greatest prospect of Armageddon since President Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Biden in an off-camera fundraiser saying he knows Putin well and that he is not joking when he talks about potential use of nuclear weapons or biological or chemical weapons. The White House quick to downplay Biden's remarks, saying the administration has seen no indication Russia is preparing to imminently use nuclear weapons against Ukraine. The State Department also walking back Biden's remarks.
They reinforce how seriously this administration takes these threats and takes the threat of nuclear weapons. This kind of irresponsible rhetoric is not something that should be coming from a leader of an armed nuclear state.
It comes as President Biden believes Putin is growing more desperate on the battlefield after a series of Ukrainian military successes in recent weeks. But as Russian troops are being forced to retreat in the south and east, new evidence of alleged war crimes are emerging. In Yampil, Ukrainian soldiers on the hunt for fleeing Russian troops.
A lot of weapons they stay here. A lot of weapons
they left behind.
Yes.
The horrors of war giving rise to hundreds of thousands of Russian men fleeing the country to avoid Putin's military draft. Two crossing the Bering Strait seeking asylum on a remote Alaskan island, now in the hands of U.S. federal officials.
This was a surprise to us. Who knows what's going to happen in the future if more individuals from Russia are trying to, tend to leave Russia through the Bering Straits.
Those two Russian nationals are now in the city of Anchorage, being screened and vetted. Diplomats at the Russian embassy in Washington say they plan to hold a phone call with them to provide any necessary assistance. Emwin, ABC News, Washington.
There are a million reasons you need a financial plan,
Damn,
and money isn't one of them. Let Thrive and help you.
Since President.
All right, Slakia. Okay. So, let me bring this word out, because she said the horrors of war got people fleeing Russia because they don't want to fight, right? But it's gonna be even worse when Howard Shah comes back, man. It's the horror and intense feeling of fear, shock, or disgust. So these people are in extreme fear to go to war, man. For their country, to stand up for their country, and whatnot, man. But it's gonna be even worse when Howard Shah comes back, man. Because scriptures say, one, man's hearts fell for fear. Two, the tribes of the earth shall wail. When they see Howard Shah's come back, man. Because the battle of Armageddon, during the battle of Armageddon, Howard Shah is going to return. So. All right. I'm gonna start with this precept first, though. This is Joel chapter 3, verse 1. It says, "For behold, in those days, and in that time, right, the later days, the evil days, the last days, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, the Lord is gathering his elect, sifting his elect via his word. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat." Excuse me. "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land," that's going to be the battle of Armageddon, and that's taking place over there in the Middle East, right around the what is it? Iran area with you got Egypt over there. I forgot what they call that specific water. right there. But all the nations are gathered over there in the Middle East, getting ready for the third world war. Um, it says, verse 3, it says, they have cast lots for my people and have, let me see. Joel chapter 3, verse 2 again. I will also gather all nations. I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, right? Because we were put in slavery uh, and kept in captivity. Um, the nations basically treated us ill, you know, and the Lord gonna pay the nations back. It says, "Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Right. So Israel, the Israelites, the blacks, that live in America, are scattered all over the world, and our land is the land of Israel was taken from us because that's our land. The land of Africa is not our land. And I've cast lots for my people, the auction blocks, and have given a boy for an harlot, right? The white men, Esau, the Caucasians, the Edomites, had sex with the young boys. It's documented history, man. Turned into homosexuals. And sold a girl for wine, right? They sold the young girls for wine that they may drink. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, that's some Africans, and all the coast of Palestine? More Africans, will you render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? Right, because not only did Esau have a hand in us being sold and bought, them Africans, them Hamites also did, and the Arabs, the Ishmaelites, they did also, and our own people did also, man. But in this particular case, is mentioning them so-called Africans. They sold us into slavery to Esau. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, right? They took all our silver and gold, etc. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Greeks, or them Edomites, the white people, man. That's their history. That ye might remove them far from their border, right? Because we are over here in America now, or in South America, Central America, etc. Man, we're not in our own homeland anymore, And then they came up with the document, the British Mandate of Palestine, 1948, and eventually started the Edomites start calling themselves the Israelites and moved into that land and saying that they the chosen people, man. The Lord ain't forgot none of that, man. The Lord gonna recompense them and all the nations, all the heathen nations together. That's why they going through these battles and all that war going on. All them Arabs and them Ishmaelites and them Elamites, which is the Elamites are the East Indies. That's why all of them over there dying the way they dying, man, because of what they did to the Israelites. So you shouldn't feel no type of sorrow, sympathy, mercy, because they did that to us and tried to hide the history. All the nations, all the elites of the nations, and they kept all of it going, man. They controlled their nations and kept all of it, kept their people sleep as well as us being asleep. And eventually it came back out via some of the kings or presidents of those nations. But they did it to the apple of the Lord's eye, and they're not gonna get away with it. We don't care what they came out and said, what they call themselves offering us, man. You know, with Joel chapter 3, verse 6, it says, the children also of Judah and the children of Israel, and that's all 12 tribes together, have you sold unto the Grecians, that's the Edomites, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place where you have sold them, right? The Lord is bringing us back right now via his word, and eventually he's going to bring us back physically. And will return your recompense upon your own head, right? What goes around comes around. What's the word? Whatever a man sow, that shall he reap. You know, what's the Thessalonians one? It is a righteous thing to recompense tribulation unto them that troubled thee. They troubled us. Now they have to receive the same trouble back. But it says, verse it says, and will return your recompense on your own head, verse 8. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Right, man. So Let me grab this precept real fast, because what goes around comes around. We was in captivity up under the nations, whichever nation we was in captivity up under, and now they got to pay for it. They got to go in captivity. It's called righteous judgment, man. The Lord gave every nation his chance. It's his their chance to rule. Um, Revelation 13:9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Right, captivity is slavery. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Right, we was gunned down, we was killed with actual swords, etc. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. The saints are the Israelites, man. Not everybody. The saints are only the Israelites. The Israelites are the blacks, the Latins, the Native Americans, man. This is Psalms 148 and 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye the Lord, man. This is back at Joel. Joel chapter 3. Verse 8, and I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, talking about them Russians. Let them, all the men of war draw near, let them come up, right, man? They're getting ready for this battle of Armageddon that they keep speaking on, man. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Right. All the money that they put in their agriculture and to build up their country, they put it into their military. Let the weak say, I am strong. Right. The nations that didn't have nuclear missiles are now have nuclear missiles. North Korea, Iran, etc. Man, those are weaker nations than the USA. Because now America can shoot nuclear missiles on them and wipe them out, and they can shoot them right back and wipe America out. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Right, the angels are going to get involved in that battle of Armageddon, man. They over there gathering right now, getting ready for it. Let the heathen be awake and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Right, man. So that battle, that war, the Third World War, Armageddon, is the Lord judging the nations for what they have done to the blacks, Latins, Native Americans. Man. Put you in a sickle, for the harvest is right. We're at the end of the world. We're at the end of Esau's world, his society. The next society is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Yahweh God, Yahweh Shai, so-called Jesus Christ, and the Israelites rule. That's what the next world is about. And righteousness. Joel 3 and 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Right. Homosexuality, transgenderism, from children all the way to grandma, grandpa is going on right now. 14. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Right, the day of the Lord is when he come back, during this Third World War with the angels, and tear this place up, and everybody that ain't of his chosen, his elect, and that he don't want to lie. Okay, I'm going to continue.
Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis. President Biden in an off-camera fundraiser saying he knows Putin well and that he is not joking when he talks about potential use of nuclear weapons or biological or chemical weapons. The White House quick to downplay Biden's remarks, saying the administration has seen no indication Russia is preparing to imminently use nuclear weapons against Ukraine. The State Department also walking back Biden's remarks.
They reinforce how seriously this administration takes these threats and takes the threat of nuclear weapons. This kind of irresponsible rhetoric is not something that should be.